Kia ora whānau, and welcome to another episode of Get a Job and Get Healthy with Costas Enterprises. I am your host, Alex Costas, and today I'm going to be talking about a few different things. One of them is a bit more on Askables, a bit more on Shaesies, and also just in general what I've been doing the last sort of week since I spoke to you guys, how I'm feeling, what I'm working on, and also just expanding a bit more onto me creating my new CV as well. So before we get into that stuff, let me give you all my socials and all that sort of stuff, the fun things. You can find my podcast anywhere on things like Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all that sort of fun stuff. You can also find it on Anchor, which was originally where it was lodged. It's now on Spotify mostly, as they bought them out, basically. You can also find me on my website, www.costasenterprises.business.blog. I will start updating a bit more on there as well, including when I've created it, I will create a new CV and cover letter template, which I'll probably throw up on there, and also potentially talk about creating an Etsy store for the exact same thing, except digital, which is one of the sorts of things that I'm looking into as well. You can find me at the Kiwi Don, both on Instagram and on Twitter, and also on Twitch as well. You can find our candle business, www.anyengarden.com. That's ANYENGARDEN.com. And on our Instagram, at anyengarden_candles. Feel free to pop along to us there. Candle business is going well as well. You can also email me, doncostas@gmail.com. That's DON for Nike, COSTAS @gmail.com. So let's get into it. Askables. In the last week, I've had two Askables, one paying $45, one paying $65. And I have been trying to sort of supplement some of my income, now that I am redundant, my weekly income with something like Askables. They do pay you pretty quickly on the Askables things. And I've done two separate surveys at the moment. One for, both were online. And one was for a bank, one was for Shaesies, which is quite cool. And one was for Vodafone, sorry, not a bank. But yeah, it was a very, very cool experience. I do think people should sign up to Shaesies. It's a great way to sort of get a little bit of extra pocket money. They do pay you pretty quickly, and it is paid into your PayPal. As I said, I've already made $100 this week, and that's just for the two that I signed up to. If I sign up for more, then of course I do get more. Shaesies, what am I going to talk about? Well, the Shaesies stuff that I've been doing is, I spoke a couple of weeks ago about my investing for dummies, and this was sort of a follow-on on one of the new features that they've got available to you. So we're going to cover off both of those sorts of things. But yeah, Askables is a really, really great way for you to just basically sign up, get a bit of money for your opinions. If you don't really work a lot and you're sort of doing part-time work, it's actually kind of perfect for you because of the simple fact that, you know, you can choose most of the times of when you're going to do these bigger surveys, or if they're the online surveys can be done pretty quickly, within about 5 to 10 minutes, if you get accepted for those as well, which is the main criteria. You are giving away your information, of course, because they are asking for your opinion, and you know, you're signing away all these things, but you don't get contacted by third parties. You only really get contacted by Askable, which is good. They do update the website Monday to Friday usually, and you know, you're not always going to find new opportunities that you can do, but you will find at least a few. Apparently they also run through some of these on Facebook as well, which I haven't done, but I will be looking into, of course, all in the interest of giving you guys a bit more information about how to get a little bit of extra pocket money, a little bit of passive income. The intention of this money, when I do get this will be paying for some of our bills. This will be, you know, when I get to about $150 to $200 on my PayPal, then I'll take that out, and that will be, you know, food money for us for a fortnight or for a week. Alternatively, the other thing I might do is it might become my general income until I get a job, and then that'll be things like, putting it into Shaesies, that sort of thing. I really think Askables is a great way to sign up. You can go to askables.co.nz and they'll be able to, you just fill in your details. You do need a PayPal, preferably, that they can pay you in, and they pay you pretty regularly and pretty quickly as well. So it's not like, you're not waiting months and months. I think the longest I've waited for a payment was about a week, maybe 2 weeks maximum for a $5, $10 payment. But for the bigger ones, like the in-person interviews, you usually get paid, if not the same day, then within the next sort of like 2 to 3 business days. So it's well worth giving it a look, especially because some of them are quite big payments as well. So what have I been doing with Shaesies? Well, Shaesies has been one of those situations where they've just introduced something called Shaesies. It's not the Kiwi Saver. That is something that they are looking at in the future, which is coming very, very shortly, I think. But what they're doing is this Shaesies Smart Saver. So effectively, it's a way of you being able to save money, and unlike the banks, you can put your money in here and take your money out within sort of like, probably 24 to 48 hours. Once you put the money in and take the money out. And then from that, you can earn an annual increase of about 4.53%, which is actually pretty good. I know it's not as great as shares and investments and all that sort of things, but for a general savings scheme where you don't have to put in like you don't have to put in every month. You've got to put $20 every month like a bank, and you're getting very small returns on a bank. You get like maybe 1-2% if you're lucky. This is a 4.83 or 4.35% return annually. So I've started putting a little bit of money into that, as well as a little bit of money into the shares themselves. And at the moment, I've got about $310 in this feature. This feature is being rolled out slowly, so if you have been accepted for this, it is worth giving it a look. You'll get sort of first dibs on it. It does change the way that your Shaesies looks. Instead of you going straight into your portfolio of everything, you go into a sort of like an extra landing page, which has one page is the Shaesies part, where you get your normal investments, and the other part is the actual savings part. I'm giving it a go. I think it's a really good idea. If you want something a bit more secure, maybe you don't want to invest in shares, you don't want to invest in mutual funds or index funds or anything like that, then this is another way that you can do that. Now, bear in mind that when you get Shaesies and you actually apply for Shaesies through a friend, like the link that I've got in my show notes, you will get $5. Now, because this is Shaesies Save, it's a little bit different, so I don't think they're doing anything for that at the moment. But at the end of the day, I think this is a really, really helpful and really, really cool way to basically get a little bit more return investment on a safer on a safer investment that you may want, which is the Shaesies Saving, of course. And the other cool thing is that they're going to be doing very soon, which I am quite keen to learn a bit more about, and I will try to find out a bit more for you, is the Shaesies Kiwi Saver. Now, for those that don't know, over, I think in America, you guys have things called like the 401k, for example, or a REIT, for example. Over here in New Zealand, we have a thing called the Kiwi Saver, and Kiwi Saver is basically a government-led savings thing where everyone gets opted in whether they want to be or not, and then you can choose to opt out if you would like, but the intention is that your employer will put in up to 3%, and then you will put in whatever you want as well as a voluntary contribution, but also they will take some money out of your out of your pay before you even see it in your account, and that will go into KiwiSaver. And the intention is that you will start to build some money into your retirement savings, and you don't have to worry about doing that separately. This is done for you by the government. They invest it how they see fit. And most times it's like you can pick a scheme that you would like to. The schemes aren't done by the actual government themselves. They're done like by funds and groups. Like for us, one of the ones is AXA, another one is Westpac, ANZ, which are our banks. And now there's going to be a KiwiSaver for Shaesies. The difference between this versus the others is before, when you signed up to a KiwiSaver with one of the other agencies, like AXA, for example, you could change it once a year. And when I mean change it, it means whether you want to be conservative, balanced. If you wanted to change, maybe you weren't happy with AXA and you wanted to go to maybe AMP or ANZ or Westpac or one of the other offerings that's out there, you could only do that once a year. Now, apparently, you can change it up. You can also change where you're investing your money as well, which is very, very big. Used to be I'll be honest, I've had my version of KiwiSaver, which is a little bit different, called the State Service Retirement Scheme, or SSRS. This is something that came out before KiwiSaver, about a year before, and it goes up to 4% as opposed to 3%, which is what KiwiSaver goes up to. But you didn't get the added benefit of an automatic $1,000 when you first signed up to KiwiSaver, which was when they first brought in KiwiSaver. That was one of the incentives. I don't think they do that anymore. I'm not actually sure. But the State Service Retirement Scheme was basically a way for me to put money aside because, you guys know I used to spend like nobody's business. I didn't have any savings, didn't have any real investments or anything back in the time when I first started working. And now I'm in that sort of situation where, because of me doing what I was doing for the, working for the government, I was able to have the State Service Retirement Scheme still contribute money, and I was putting in 10% in the last last 2 years. So 10% of my pay was going directly into my State Service Retirement Scheme. And so I'm very keen to see what they do with that, because one of the things I would like to do is potentially transfer my State Service Retirement Scheme to my Shaesies KiwiSaver if it allows me to do some of the things that I want to do. One of those things is put it into things like the S&P 500. I've talked before about the Vanguard S&P 500 as a really, really good index fund and also mutual fund, an ETF, which is an electronically traded fund. And the reason for that is because it basically follows the top 500 companies in the US, as well as usually has about a roughly an 8% increase each time. So it is one of those things that I'm thinking about. And if Shaesies allows me to do that, that will be a really, really cool feature that no other KiwiSaver functions really have. The KiwiSaver functions otherwise you put it into you get your assistance from your managers, your fund managers, for example, and they will organise everything for you. Now, that's all well and good for those that sort of, have no real idea of where they want to be in the way of investing. But for someone like me who's, starting to invest a lot more and starting to know more about what I want to invest in the future, having the opportunity to actually invest in what I want to invest in with the money that I'm earning without using like a normal fund or anything else like that is quite cool and quite huge. So that's one of the things that I'm looking at quite seriously as well. And I'll be open and honest, so I've been saving up for about 20 years. That's how long I've had my State Service Retirement Scheme. In that time, I have, by putting away originally just 3%, which was the minimum, and then putting away 10%, I am sitting at about $89,000, which is my retirement scheme. So I can tell you right now that in New Zealand, if I was to retire at 65, based on the money that they've sort of quoted to me, I'd be getting around about $300,000, maybe $400,000 to live on for the rest of my life once I stop working. Now, you guys know I want to retire young, retire rich. That's part of the reason why I'm doing all the things that I'm doing. And I can tell you right now, after looking after my mother and having to put her into a home, that is not going to be enough. That will probably be roughly 2 years, maybe 3 years maximum in a home, based on the current cost. So yeah, not really ideal. And I will admit I have had it in a completely balanced profile. When I was younger, I probably should have put it in the aggressive to let it grow. The problem with aggressive is it focuses more on shares, and there is more of a chance of losing the money. When you do it in sort of a balanced or a balanced way, then you're more likely to get things like, investing in cash, also investing in things like bonds, which are much more safer, so that you actually get a bit of a a return and a little bit more security, which is ultimately the whole point of why I'm talking about this with KiwiSaver and Shaesies. Because if I'm able to transfer mine to Shaesies, I can invest in the index funds, the mutual funds that I want, but actually get some a bit better of a return than having it just all in balanced. For example, I can put it more into one of these mutual funds, and then hopefully in a couple of years, that reinvests itself, and the compound interest that I'm earning will do much better. Now, I've talked about compound interest a little bit before. If you are new to investing, that is the key, and that is the most important part, is by putting away some of your money now and putting it into a mutual fund, an index fund, and leaving it. As that money sort of builds and grows, you will get paid what we call dividends. Those dividends you can then reinvest into that fund, meaning that your money is going to start working for you as opposed to you working for your money. I am a big believer that, because I've been on the other side where I've spent my money, which I talked about, I'm a big believer that you should now try, if you can, and start investing in index funds or ETFs or mutual funds. And I've talked about the reason why before. They are just a lot easier for you to deal with when it comes to actually, getting a return on, your investment. So, yeah, now sort of like a great time if you do have something like KiwiSaver. Of course, I'm not going to tell people to put their KiwiSaver straight into Shaesies until I've looked into it myself, which is what I plan to do. And part of that will be seeing whether or not it's compatible with other ones. And again, it all depends on what it is that you're doing. If you don't look into this sort of stuff and you don't really care about it, then, you can go with just a normal portfolio manager, which is like AXA or one of those. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, the main thing is you're doing it. And I am a big champion for exactly that. Like, even if you don't listen to what I'm saying, at least do what you need to make sure that you're getting everything, because that's huge, trust me. So yeah, I'm a strong believer that even if you're doing something, it could be putting away $20 a week. That's still $20 a week, more than the person that's deciding not to do it. It's all those sorts of things. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really cool little scheme if it's done properly. But I mean, again, this is the stuff that I will look into. And whatever you decide, if you choose to stay with your provider or if you choose not to go with KiwiSaver, that's completely up to you. But make sure you're starting to save for your future. That's really, really important. Especially if you want to be out of the rat race, which is what we want to be, me and my partner. So, updating my CV. I have been working with a recruitment specialist myself since being made redundant. That was one of the things that they did was they sort of gave me, they put some money towards my getting a recruitment specialist, and he has been fantastic and helping me basically start looking at everything that I'm doing. And one of the things is, I've been redeveloping my CV. I realized that my CV was quite out of date and I needed to do quite a bit of updating. And so I sent him a draft on Monday night or Tuesday morning, about midnight, and saw him on Tuesday and got some really, really good feedback, which I'm going to update as well. And yeah, I'm going to look around for jobs and start looking a lot sooner and just try to basically get everything through. I do want to be working back again. Ideally, I would like to be my own boss and be a contractor myself, but we still need money at the moment. And, I can be a contractor and also do part-time work while I'm waiting, which is kind of the idea that I'm looking at the moment. So yeah, that's where I'm sort of at. That's sort of what I've been doing. Unfortunately, I talked about my gastro stuff that I had and how much fun that's been. I'm still in the same boat. The new drug still hasn't left my system, which is fun because it means that I'm still having the same problems that I've been having the last 3 weeks, and I'm not doing well because of it. But yeah, I'm just trying to get through what I can and hopefully sort it all out. I do have the new computer. The new computer is fantastic. It's helped me do a lot of stuff that we needed to do. I haven't yet started my content creation, but I will be doing that very shortly. However, the one good thing is, with me being on the redundancy and me not working at the moment, is I'm actually able to do a weekly episode, hence today's episode, on time, on a Thursday, when I said I was going to. So, yeah, I'm going to keep trying to keep this up, and also one of the things I'm thinking about doing as well is, if I'm able to, I'm going to try and download my old episodes and then upload those to YouTube onto my Costas Enterprises YouTube webpage, which is in the show links. And yeah, just try to get the messages out there, and it'll be interesting to see what my old things were. It'll just be audio. Maybe there'll be some pictures. I don't know. And then I will attempt to sort of start loading new ones up through the same process as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing what I need to, and growing this audience, growing everything that I'm doing. I do love you guys for listening all the time. I know there's, the last couple of weeks I've had some crazy growth. I think 1 or 2 days I had about 172 people, and I was like, whoa, that was just crazy. But I do really, really appreciate everyone that does listen. I do hope that, if you find something valuable, let me know. Go to doncostas@gmail.com. Let me know. Flick through a poll and let me know what you think, whether I'm talking bullshit or whether or not you actually agree with what I'm talking about. Until then, I hope everyone has a fantastic day. It is going to be a short episode because I still haven't really had much to work on recently, but if anything does happen in my life that's shocking and surprising, I will let you guys know, obviously. I wish everyone the best of luck, and feel free to hit me up. Until next time, guys, I love you, and good luck.